Out of the Dust by Karen Hesse. This is a novel written in verse. It was published in 1997 by Scholastic and is the winner of the Newbery Medal. It is the story of Billie Jo, who is a young woman. She's 14 when the novel begins, and she lives in Oklahoma with her family. Oklahoma during the 1930s, which was the era of the Great Depression, was the center of the Dust Bowl, which was a really awful phenomenon that left a lot of people with unusable land. Their crops wouldn't grow, farmers weren't able to provide for their families, and Billie Jo is at the heart of this. Her mother is pregnant, and a little ways into the novel, a very horrific accident happens with a fire, and Billie Jo's mother is left very badly burned, and Billie Jo herself has serious injuries to her hands, which is really sad, and made more sad because Billie Jo is a pianist, and this is the thing that brings her the most joy in life. After a short time, Billie Jo's mother dies giving birth to Billie Jo's little brother, and he then dies as well, and Billie Jo is left in this barren land with her father, and they don't really know how to connect and how to take care of one another anymore without Billie Jo's mother. I'm going to read a couple of poems because I think they're the best way to enter into this novel and to see what the mood is like and how beautifully language is used and the fact that it's poetry but is still really accessible. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Night Bloomer. It is on page 81 of the book. And here it is. Mrs. Brown's Sirius plant bloomed on Saturday night. She sent word after promising I could come see it. I rubbed my gritty eyes with swollen hands. My stomach grizzled as I made my way through the dark to her house. Ma wouldn't have let me go at all. My father just stood in the doorway and watched me leave. It was almost 3 in the morning when I got there. A small crowd stood around. Mrs. Brown said, "The blossom opened at midnight, big as a dinner plate. It took only moments to unfold." How can such a flower find a way to bloom in this drought, in this wind? It blossomed at night when the sun couldn't scorch it, when the wind was quiet, when there might have been a sip of dew to freshen it. I couldn't watch it dawn when the flower, touched by the first finger of morning light, wilted and died. I couldn't watch as the tender petals burned up in the sun. September 1934. The second poem is called Old Bones. Once, dinosaurs roamed in Cimarron County, bones showing in the green shale, ribs the size of plow blades, hip bones like crank phones, and legs running like fence rails down to a giant foot. A chill shoots up my spine, imagining a dinosaur slogging out of an Oklahoma sea, with turtles swimming around its legs. I can see it sunning itself on the swampy banks, beyond it a forest of ferns. It's almost easy to imagine, gazing out from our house at the dust-crushed fields. Easy to imagine filling in all the emptiness with green. Easy to imagine such a beast brushing an itchy rump against our barn. But all that remains of it is bone, broken and turned to stone, trapped in the hillside, this once-upon-a-time real live dinosaur who lived and fed and roamed like a ridiculous long-necked cow, and then fell down and died. I think for a moment of Joe de la Flor herding Brontosaurus instead of cattle, and I smile. I tell my father, let's go to the site and watch the men chip away with ice picks. Let's see how they plaster the bones. Please, before they ship the whole thing to Norman. I'm thinking that a dinosaur is getting out of Joyce City, 100 million years too late to appreciate the trip, and that I ought to get out before my own bones turn to stone. But I keep my thoughts to myself. My father thinks a while, rubbing that spot on his neck. He looks out the window, out across the field, toward the knoll where Ma and the baby lie. It's best to let the dead rest, he says, and we stay home. June 1935. This is a really fantastic book. It's a quick read, but it's emotionally very compelling. And it's a really interesting historical portrait of a time that we don't know about. I would give it 8 out of 10. I thought it was really gorgeously written. And although there are occasional moments of death, which is hard to avoid when somebody dies in the story, I think it's appropriate for a wide range of ages. In the context of this review, I will say 11 and up, probably. But I think it could go younger if it's being read by a more emotionally mature child, or in the context of a family environment. And again, Out of the Dust by Karen Hesse. It's really wonderful.